Before we begin, which makes no sense because we've just begun. I don't know why I say this. I always say before we begin, and I've just begun. I want to talk to you about something which is exceedingly critical during the morning portion of the benediction that we do every day. And before we begin, before we talk about something, I want you to understand. I want you to listen. I want you to clear your mind, and I want you to focus on something. By virtue of you being here, you have indicated, you have evinced, you have indicated to everybody at least a degree of interest in what's going on. And for those people who don't know any better, they're going to say, you must be part of some kind of conservative or conservative contingent or some kind of conservative group because that's why you're here and whatever. Well, but people can say whatever they want, but you're here because you could be somewhere else. You could be talking to sports. You can be listening to this. And there's something about this particular channel and channels. Don't forget Lionel Nation. This is Lionel Nation, Lionel Legal. But this is our, especially the morning, the first part. And what's really important more than anything else is for me to explain something to you about how you've got to think. And I want you to imagine you walk in to your room. You get up in the morning and you have this home. And you say, let me go down to my den or my, whatever it is, this room. And it's very quiet. And you have your coffee. And you may have the little clickety clack of nails, like a sound of a dog, that click, click, click. Very quiet. Maybe a bird singing. Just calm. Starting off the day. And you open up the door and you walk into a riot. A riot, a 10-alarm fire, a movie, a concert, people screaming at you, people saying things to you, people calling you names, lies, truth, confusion. That is your day. That is your day. You don't know where to start. You've got an instrument board of about 50 different topics. Where do you want to go first? Where do you want to know? I know people who live exclusively and they're very good. Let's take, for example, their channels. It's either Israel and Ukraine together. That's it. Or just Israel. Or just Ukraine. Or there are other, and let's call them channels, that deal more with social issues, transgender issues, the latest sports that has been invaded by a man with a full wanting to wrestle with girls, fentanyl overdoses, conspiracy theories. What about that bridge? Biden, politics, elections, Trump's cases. Think of all the different areas that you can focus on. You might just be one of those red state or real clear politics, and you just want to talk about polling numbers, which is fine. You may want to walk around and put your big button on that says Trump for whatever, and you might want to go to a political club. You might just want to be seen with people. You might want to be one of the countless folks who loves to just fill your Facebook with pictures of me sitting next to Carrie Lake. Look, here's me at Mar-a-Lago with Carrie Lake. Here I am. I know her. You know her. Well, I don't know her. Get rid of that stupid reaction. I don't know her, but here I am. I'm in Mar-a-Lago. I know Trump. You know Trump? Well, I don't know Trump, but I kind of know Trump. I know all these people like that. And you know what? Each of those various levels of involvement, each of those is completely and absolutely valid. Each one. Each one is okay if that's what you want to do. Now, today we're going to break that down just a little bit because I want to talk to you about how you keep your head on straight and how you focus and how you exist and the people you'll meet. And also the latest case with Fani Willis, which is it's for no other reason. It's one of those cases where you just won't believe it. So subscribe to the channel. Make sure you absolutely smash the like button. Demographics are key. Make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and listen to this incredible, wonderful word from our wonderful sponsor. Well, it's time yet again to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you get a free gift. No purchase necessary. I know, a free gift. Gifts are free. Okay, it's a tautology, so sue me. But listen to me and listen carefully. What are we talking about here? Down comforters, flannel sheets, Giza Dream bed sheets, My Pillow 2.0 body pillows, waffle blankets, couch and recliner pillows, sheets, slippers, percales. I'm not even done yet. Towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, pet blankets, bolster pillows, name it. Items to help you luxuriate and relax. And their monster sellers, slippers, my slippers, slip-ons, moccasins. Think about it. What do they do at My Pillow? What's their main goal? To make things real soft, plush, real comfy, or comfy as I say it. How perfect. So here's the link right now. Go to mypillow.com/Lionel. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel or /Lionel, or call 800-645-4965. 800-645-4965. And watch how fast our good friend Mike Lindell answers the phone. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, simply and absolutely the best. I want to speak to you right now, my friend. I recognize this. Let me give you an idea. Again, the level of how much do you want to do something? Whatever your involvement is, whether it's cooking, you know what? You might be an occasional baker. And then you might open up a bakery, and you might enter competitions, and you've picked the level of involvement. Everybody's a baker. One guy's a professional. One guy does scones on the weekend. You can be into politics. You can run for office, or you can just be interested. You've indicated at least an interest in this. And last, I got to tell you about this. This is my latest thing, which I don't really do, but I'm glad I do. I am rather insular. I get very bored very quickly, and I don't mind people, but I have to say I've got to get out more, because if you listen to what people say, you will go home and you will cry. You will think to yourself, nobody knows what the hell's going on here. But in a way, it's important. Let me give you an example. I can only speak from my particular fishbowl here, and we all are in a fishbowl. Be not mistaken. I've got a friend of mine that says, I moved to Florida. Oh, you changed fish bowls. Now you live in Florida. You're in Punta Gorda. Okay, I got it. Fat Point. Okay, good. Now you're in a Florida fish bowl. That's another one. Everybody wants a fish bowl. Don't ever kid yourself. I know people who live in the New York class. They think they're a part of this classy, posh fish bowl with my classy friends, and we're going to go to the Hamptons. And I know that fishbowl. Big time. I understand that one. I got it. There are others who, even around here, they're New Yorkers, but they are tough. They might be black, or they might be from the street, or they might be more uptown. A queen. Everybody's got a fishbowl. So last night we were at a fishbowl at the Metropolitan Republican Club, Dick Morris and a variety of other people talking about things. And let me explain this to you. It is people, a compilation of people who actively want to be, they are so passionate about it. It is bare bones, sheer 100% activism. 100%. Nothing fluffy. Tell me the truth. We want to win. And you cannot believe when I tell you the variety of folks. You might think to yourself, okay, this is a bunch of white folks. Well, there's white folks there too, and black folks, and gay folks, and Latinos, and everything you can imagine. Then if we could do something on black, and I'm going to use this just for the sake of shortcuts. Black conservatives, it will blow your mind. Blow your mind. Gay conservatives. You have been told, and you have been led to believe that the world of conservatism, and again, I give this just a name. If somebody says, "Hey, Jerry, you want to go out to eat?" You first say, "My name's not Jerry, but yeah, what do you want?" Chinese. Okay, good. You ever say, "I want Pan A"? Well, technically, I like Malaysian. And I wouldn't mind. No, come on, give me a name. Let's call it Chinese. Thank you. But it's not Chinese. I understand. What music do you like? Jazz, bebop, just I give it a name. Our life is shortcuts. What do you want? I want a sandwich. What kind of sandwich? You want a roll, a hoagie? No, it's what I call it. So we call this that we're doing here conservative, just so that we have a name for it, because it's. And I could argue that, well, technically it's liberal. Forget it. I don't have time for that stuff. And there are people who you just don't understand what's going on. And I'm sitting here and I'm taking it all in. And I'm just I'm taking my brain, I'm opening it up, and I'm just emptying just like big bins of information and data. And then it takes me days to sort out the metadata. I'm serious. Days. We're in this old Upper East Side. It's a townhouse started by the founders or whatever, or the followers of Teddy Roosevelt. And there's framed references to Ronald Reagan. I mean, it's just, and it was from a time when I'm thinking, I would never be in a Republican group. Are you kidding me? Mm-mm. Do you remember? I'm 65 years old, right? Give me an idea of what's going on here. So when I was a kid, I was in the 60s, right? So, when I'm coming about and all this great stuff, but I say 60s, technically speaking. 1968, it was what? Well, 1968, I was 10 years old, but still, but I'm kind of getting the whole thing, and I'm into the groove. And when I grew up, the music and the politics were meshed, they were brought together. So we were always very politically active as a kid if you were into the music. I had a POW bracelet. We had peace signs. We were into this. Politics and culture were perfectly mixed. Today, it's not politics. It's social activism or something. I don't know what the hell is it, right? But that's the way that works. Okay, fine. So, make a long story short. So, Republicans were not even on the radar. The cool people, the great people, the smart people were Democrats, anti-war, women's rights, civil rights. The people that were the people that you admired. Kennedy, people admired John Kennedy, people admired Bobby Kennedy until they found out what this was about. It was very easily, there was a demarcation. It was the war. And what's interesting about it, we were anti-war, and Johnson was the biggest problem. He was pro-war because he got into it, and Nixon got us out. Anyway, it was, and people believed in freedom, and then everything started to just change. And that's one thing, dear friend. Do you notice change? Do you notice what's different? Play a game with you. Here's something. Walk around your neighborhood. Don't drive through it. Walk around it. You will see things you never thought were there. Mrs. Ellen and I were walking. We had a wonderful time. We're walking around the hood. We go to our place. I go to the shoe. I had to get a shoe shine. I love this, And I see my guy, I've known him forever now, the guy who owns the shoe shop. And we always talk politics, and it's great. He's a black guy, and we just laugh, and and you know what? And we are probably more similar than not, because people of the same age, kind of, sort of, or the same, but we laugh. He's more Democrat. I'm less Democrat, and we laugh, but it's never mean. We always kid. Whenever I drive by, I said, "Hey, caught the Biden speech. Love it." And just walk by. And he laughed at me. I don't have to sit there and say the man's a mental jellyfish. No, I don't. All right. So as I'm walking around, I'm saying, notice this. Pot stores, opening pot stores with nobody in them. Here's something. What's that place called? The Nap Work? There's a Nap York. It's Nap York. It's a napping place. Right there on what, 8th Avenue, I guess? It's an, huh? Yeah. To nap? That's interesting. And I'm walking around here. In New York, white women are told, make sure you don't walk around with your phone. What? There is this new kind of a TikTok thing. Go up and slug white women in the face. Huh? Let me tell you something, dear friends. We had a woman last night speak. Her name is Madeline Brame. And her son was fought in Afghanistan, correct? Came back here, survived Afghanistan. Not, I mean, a file clerk. And he was stabbed to death by 2 career criminals who basically, the people involved got nothing. So she has devoted her life to telling people about crime victims. It's unbelievable. Black woman. Son goes, survives Afghanistan, and is stabbed to death here. And she was telling somebody, she says, let me tell you something. Women, she says, when I see people, she goes, white women, she was the most powerful woman. Goes, white women, let me tell you something. You better pay attention. White women and Asian. She says, when I see women walking around looking down with their headphones, I want to go up and pull their hair and say, pay attention, because they're looking for you. They're coming up on scooters. They're coming up. And by the way, whatever happens here is happening to you next. Now, granted, you might be in Punta Gorda where nothing happens. That's true. And she's saying things like, you better have your phone. Do you ever look at your phone? Look at your phone, any kind of phone, whether it's in the case or not. Look how solid that is. If you brained somebody with that, you could take them out. Anyway, so we're looking at all this stuff. And we're paying attention. And I'm taking this in the lesson. And I'm taking in Dick Morris and what she says. And I'm taking all of this focus in. This morning, I'm listening to a video. This is Jose Andres. The level of cluelessness as to Israel fascinates me. And I also want you to do something too. Listen to me very carefully. I want you to listen to what people say, and I want you to reject it. And I said, there's one thing we were talking, Dick Morris said last night. And by the way, concomitant to what we were doing on other part of town was a Republican. These are the snooty Republicans with their big annual gala where they sit around snapping pictures with Greg Abbott or whatever. And sorry, that ain't for me. Anytime we're having a dinner, it's a waste of time. Anytime you sit down, I'm sorry, I don't care what it is. Especially if it's an award ceremony. Forget it. That's I want to pretend I'm a Republican group. Sorry. You have no clue as to what's going on. And they pay this kind of a syrupy, this love of Trump and you have no idea the number of people. All they want to do is want to go to Mar-a-Lago and take a picture. I've never said, what's the matter with you? You're 75 years old. What are you doing? Playing groupie with Trump? He works for you. I was at Mar-a-Lago with Carrie Lake. Look, here's me on my Instagram. Aren't we sexy? What happened to you? Here I am with Greg Abbott. So you can't see it's behind me. I got. See that picture? It's me and George Jones. That's it. I'm sorry. That's a picture. The rest of it. I mean, I can't believe this. So here we are. We have this woman telling people about crime. Her son was stabbed. Dick Morris. So Dick Morris said this, and this is the only thing. I don't want to say I disagree with him, because when it comes to stats, he's a machine. But I said, do you really think, and he didn't really answer the question, I said, that Joe Biden's going to be the nominee? Do you really? I mean, seriously, not positioning. Do you think he physically can do this? And Dick Morris is of the belief that it has to be either Michelle Obama, which is just kind of a theoretical thing, or Kamala Harris, because they have to have a black woman or black person. I think it's a black woman. Black woman. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're going to lose the black vote. No. I do not believe, I'm sorry, intuitively, it might be better if you have someone who is and I don't mean super qualified, but just somebody who's mildly qualified. Nobody, and I don't, how do I say this? Nobody truly believes or thinks of Kamala Harris as being a qualified black woman. No one. Do you hear what I'm saying? Edie Crowley says, I'd rather have my picture taken with Mr. and Mrs. L. Oh, well, Edie, I'm honored by that. Edie's a great fan of Mrs. L. Don't forget. Mrs. L, I don't know if you heard this. She says that thank you because you're a great fan of her on Mrs. L's YouTube. Let me just tell you right now. Hang on, there we go. This is right there. Lens Warriors. Follow it. Lens Warriors. And also, I want to tell you again, this is something else. This is very important. This is called Lionel Legal. That's the other one. And another one too is this is somebody said yesterday, this woman, she says, can I ask you a question? I said, oh my God. She looked very, very, I said, yes. She says, where is this private channel? I said, that's a good question. It's right here. LionelMedia.com. LionelMedia.com. This is where you could say anything. Because I don't know what we can say here. I mean, so far things have been pretty good, but you have no idea. I don't say half of what I want to say. So that's LionelMedia.com. That's the subscriber. That's the paywall. That's the one where I can sit and I do an hour a day of that one. And and it may be something that, you see, the only thing worth talking about is something which is the most interesting. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to say this to you now, and I'm going to say this. And I said, we were talking the other day. I said, do you think black folks think Kamala Harris is black? Now the reason I say this, do you think that, do you think black citizens, black voters think that Barack Obama is black? Oh, yes. What about Ben Carson? Well, yes. Do you think people thought Lee Iacocca was Italian? What? Did people think that how Italian, how black, how white, how Southern, how male, how when people like Pete Booty Giggity, right? Gay man. Does he have a future? Why? Is it because he's gay? Is it because, see, I don't know. Does a black woman, here's my question. And I go into a far greater detail. And people get very nervous whenever you talk about it. But I'm talking about the psychology of voting. Let's take Kamala Harris, all right? Let me just give you this is what I've done. Imagine I take women, black women, white women, whatever, and any demographic, Asian women, Asian mix, biracial women, and I took this picture and I said, okay, and nobody will ever talk about this. Ever. And that's what I talk about at LionelMedia.com. But listen to this. Just think about this, right? You have this kind of like Scientology talks about this auditing thing. You've got this thing you put on this plethysmograph or something. And you watch candidates. And I say, okay, put up Kamala, put up somebody, okay? Now, let's do me a favor. Start changing her age. Up her age so that when you see her, she starts to change age. When do you notice a significant change, right? Notice it. When do people say, no? Okay, let's go the opposite end. Young, good, young, no, too young, no. What's that range? You're merely responding to just a picture representing age. Now, let's take somebody who is white, somebody who is black, right? One end. Put on there whatever this reaction is, whatever you call this. Now, make them more white, less white, mixed, older, variable. Look what happens. So the answer is, it's not any black woman, it's not any black man, it's not any white man, it's not any older man. There's something about, if you looked at somebody who looked just by virtue of the degree of prototypical ethnic traits or whatever it is, you see where we're going with this? Nobody wants to talk about this. It has nothing to do with racism. It's a reaction. See, because a lot of folks love to pretend that everybody's race neutral. They're not. But that doesn't mean you're racist. It doesn't. It doesn't. This is an experiment I've always wanted to do. Imagine I have this device. I put this device on you. I don't know what it is, but I put this device on you. And it tells me your reaction. Like, oh. You go to a doctor. Do you ever go to a doctor like a clinic? Not a clinic, but you go to like Mount Sinai, whatever it is, have our doctors, and you don't know who the doctor is. It's not somebody you know. So you're sitting there. And there's a thing, I'm like, I wonder what the doctor is. And all of a sudden you hear like footsteps. Is that the doctor? And the door opens up. Now, in the door walks in white doctor, black doctor, Asian doctor, Chinese Asian, Indian Asian, then that, male, female, that, young, old. So how many permutations of that? I don't know. Young black female, old black female, young black male, like 30, 50, I don't know. And imagine as this guy walks in, a young Asian, a young black man, a young black woman, a young white woman. And immediately your sense of, oh, not that I'm going to get up and leave, but your reaction, like, that's what a doctor looks like. That's what a doctor looks like. Here's one for you. Put the same doctor, let's say he puts on a headdress. Some kind of headdress, not like but I mean like a turban or a yarmulke, a kippah, or a kufi, or a whatever it is. Same thing. Doctor, tie, what happens? You react to things that are just, you have no idea. What am I reacting to? He's got a hat. Your numbers went. You know what that guy is? He's the most foremost in his country. Well, in his country. My point is that we are not slaves of fact. We are not slaves of data. We are models. We are slaves of background and interest and suspicion and history and, you know, who we are and where we're from and what era we're from. And you talk to somebody about being a Republican who's been from a communist country. Oh, I know. We know a bunch of those people. They're like the most ardent. You don't understand what communism is. They just, oh my God. Here we use the word leftist, left and right. I remember one time when people said, we're going to Florida. And I said, you've never been there, have you? No. I'm from there. I think you're gonna be surprised. What do you mean? Wow. I said, there's no crime in the desert either. Johnny Carson had a great line years ago. They said, and he goes, a lot of people always say, it's hot in Nevada, but it's a dry heat. There's no humidity. Johnny Carson said, there's no humidity in an oven either. Now, what I'm telling you right now deals more with the fact of who we are and how we react to things and how we react to Trump. And what nobody is telling you about, and what polls can't tell you, what numbers can't tell you, what Dick Morris can't tell you, transcends race. And I'm going to tell you something, which is so counterintuitive. When it comes to politics, race matters least. I know you're laughing. You're saying, this guy's crazy. Oh, absolutely not. There are people right now who are going to say, let me tell you something. Go back to my scenario. Biden versus pick your poison. I guarantee you, I know more people say, I'm voting for anybody but Biden. Anybody. How far anybody can we go before they'd say, okay, that's enough? That's crazy. No. What I'm talking last night and the night before to Black people, Hispanic people, Latino people, whatever word you want to call it, who by numbers should be saying, you should not be a conservative. You're saying, you don't understand. I live in a world that is more dependent upon law and order than yours. I know this Black woman whose son, think about this. He survives Afghanistan and is stabbed here. 2 people. Well, it just, you know, and you're going to say African Americans. She's going to want an African American to represent because, Kamala's. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's great on paper. Maybe a Democrat says, I mean, who are these Democrats who says, I think Biden's great? Nobody says that. They might be saying anybody but Trump, but you know what? We'll get through this. The president, they'll be able to justify it in their own mind. This is crunch time, and people are so scared. And what I'm telling you is that when it comes down to voting, keep your numbers, keep your keep trends, keep all of this stuff. I'm telling you, keep it. People are scared out of their minds with what's happening. They don't know what to do. They can't believe what is happening. That's the thing. Now, I promised you a little bit about Fani, and I'm going to give it to you, but I had to tell you that because I don't want you to lose faith, and I don't want you to keep your eye off the prize, so to speak. But do not fall for this Fox News stuff. This voting is different than anything people want or can describe. And I know that's difficult to explain, but give me a moment and I'll try it again. In any event, let's think about something right now. There was something yesterday. I saw something. It was in the Daily Mail. They have these. Have you seen this clickbait nonsense? Surgeon gives you the one parameter that best predicts the size of a penis. It's like, what? Are you that desperate for clicks? You come up with that one? But the one I liked was prepper. Here's a woman who's a prepper disaster prepper. Disaster prepper. And I'm thinking, what do you mean disaster prepper? Oh no, here's some tips about she's like a disaster. And they always make preppers sound kind of stupid, and crazy, and lunatic. Like, black helicopter, aluminum foil, not tin foil, aluminum foil crazy. Really? So let me get this straight. You just saw this Baltimore, by the way, you see what they're saying about China and the rigs or whatever? Anyway. You just saw a bridge go for reasons that nobody can figure out. Boom. Okay. And you're going to see a major artery chopped off in the distribution, and it doesn't take anything even that catastrophic to make things back up and to set in motion supply chain disasters. And that's why survival food is so critical. Let's talk about a very serious subject, emergency food. That's right, emergency food. Now, I know at first blush it's difficult for most people to think about something that they just take for granted, ever reaching, emergency status. We're used to stores always being open, deliveries always made, no supply chain disasters, no ransomware catastrophes, shutting down gas stations, no trucking strikes, no war, no protests from farmers, no mysterious Chinese weather balloons, nothing catastrophic in terms of weather. Well, that can't happen to us, right? And I understand it's a defense mechanism that we have because the idea of ever not being able to eat or locate food is seemingly incomprehensible to most people. But think about this. It's not. That's why it's time for you to go to my site, preparedwithlionel.com. Preparedwithlionel.com has the deal of deals for you. Take it as a starter set, an introduction set. You've been putting off emergency food for too long. Some people still have a thing about prepping as though prepping for emergency is foolish. Now, right now, you can save $200 on a 3-month emergency supply kit. This is unbelievable. 22 varieties with a 25-year shelf life, 25 years, 2,000 calories a day in 6 rugged buckets, 120 pounds of food. Could you go 3 months, 90 days if stores closed? Be honest. Could you go a week without any trips to the store? I don't think so. I'm not talking about having stuff in your cabinet. I'm not talking about banana chips and jerky. I'm talking about food, real food. So go right now to preparewithlionel.com. This moment, right now, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. Go now and thank me later. Now, one of the best stories available, one of the best, without a doubt, is Fani Willis. They are circling the wagon. Thank God. If you want to see aggressive lawyering, look no further than to what they're doing in Newsweek. I mean, in a Newsweek article in Georgia. And by the way, make sure later on I've got some new videos on this because I'm going to be. And Fani Willis does a number of things. Number one, it shows you you'll never see anything like this. You'll never see this arrogance of power. You'll never see stupid people. Tiffany Henyard is still the supreme judge rule of all. She is without a doubt, but doesn't play the race card as much. Fani Willis is the look of absolute haughty, self-deluded. Just go down the list. She's wonderful. Anyway. Now, there's nothing worse than somebody who's spoiled. See, one of the things that you always want to tell kids is that you can be spoiled, but don't think you're bulletproof. Don't think you're entitled. You can be, whatever it is. I like when people say, oh, I want a child, for example, who's got a great ego, feels very self-confident, feels talented and pretty and handsome, but realizes, but I'm really no better than anybody else. That's the balance. Be confident, be smart, be great, but don't think you're better than anybody. You're not better. I'm just good. That's all. That's all. There was a time in this country when Bob Cousy was considered basketball perfection. Bob Cousy, two-handed jump. Today, they say, what is this? But at his time, he was the best. Everything's relative, okay? Well, here comes Fani Willis. And this is where the Democrats really screwed up. They put all of their eggs in one basket. They gave this idiot, and she is, and I know this is, listen to her, and that's it. Listen to Tiffany Henyard. Listen to Joe Biden. They don't know what they're talking about. But this, Fani Willis, more than anybody else, Fani Willis says, you don't understand. It's one of these people. It's like, have you seen the latest Karen, these lunatics on airplanes? It's like, do you not understand this? You can't tell me what to do. Excuse me. Do you not understand? You're on a plane. Yes, we can tell you what to do. Fani, do you not understand? You don't understand. I'm a proud Black woman. That has nothing to do with this. Fani, do you not get? Okay. I'm telling you. This is the thing which is the most critical. She's great to watch. Please. She's wonderful because you've never seen anything like this. So here's what she does. Let me tell you the way it should have been, and then let me tell you the way it is. It should have been like this. Fani gets a call. Fani, there's somebody who wants to see you in the conference room. Who is it? He didn't say. And Fanny walks in and I'm sitting there, or somebody's sitting there. Says, Fanny, have a seat. It's Fani. Bullshit. It's Fanny. Now sit down. Doesn't matter who I am, doesn't matter where I'm from, but you listen to me. You have been selected for reasons that nobody will understand to bring about one of the most important prosecutions of all time. You are going after former President Donald John Trump in a racketeering case, which by its very nature is so ridiculous, so incredibly nuts. Racketeering? Racketeering? But you've got it. And we can make no mistakes, no unforced errors. First of all, you got to do me a favor. Shut up. Do not speak. Do not go into churches. Do not say, do not. We don't. No. Because now you represent us. We are the Democratic Party. We are the deep state, the police state, the intel state, the shadow government, and the ruling class. And we will crush you like a grape. You'll be a grease spot in the street if you violate us, number one. Number two, we're going to tell you how to handle this Nathan Wade thing. And what you're going to do is you're going to do this. You're going to go before Judge McAfee and you're going to say, Judge, first and foremost, my duty is to the Constitution, and then to the court, and then to the great people of Fulton County. And yes, indeed, we had a romantic relationship from 2019 up until whenever it ended. At the time I hired him, we were having an affair, as you would call it. He was married at the time. I was not. And continued to, whatever. But in no way did it affect our judgment. We did not bring an indictment against Donald Trump in order to say, hey, guess what? I can funnel $700K to you over 2.5 years, and then you can redirect it back to me, kind of like a no-show job, and we can go on cruises. Didn't work like that. And as you know, Judge McAfee, even if we were married, you can't be more connected than that. Even though we're married, that wouldn't violate any particular rules against conflict of interest. That's it. That would have been the end of it. Ashley Merchant would have been like, oh, well. Sadow, who was Trump's lawyer, goodbye. That's it. And the case would have just, there might have been some nepotism problems. There might have been some problems with whatever, but it would have been no problem. No problem. That's it. But that's not what you did, Fanny. No, you didn't do that. You did I can't do that thing, but you know what I mean. You know, I'm a proud black woman. You lied about stuff because you think you're smarter. You're not. See, very few people can lie. Number one, because the lie can only work if you've rehearsed the lie. Remember Pulp Fiction? Remember when, not Buscemi, but what was his name? The actor who was going through his story. Going through his, was it? No. Reservoir Dogs. Excuse me. He was going through Timler. He was going through his role. Then you can act. Know your act, but you can't just make it up on the spot like that. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You think it is, but it doesn't. It does not work like that. Does it? You're not smart enough. You can't do this. You're not able to do this. Believe me when I tell you this. You're not able to do this. So she just thought, well, I didn't do this. Well, I didn't do this. It's none of your business. And you're lying, and you give me this, and you just started with this nasty, snarky, rude behavior for no particular reason because you are used to this. You think that court and politics or whatever is like your life. You can just, I'm doing the snapping finger thing, but whatever. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know how to bring it to your attention. But you have royally screwed this up. Now bring in Wade. Nathan, sit down. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any problems with your ex-wife now? Any problem with money? Any problem with money? What do you mean? Are you paid up with your child support and everything? Are you with the alimony, rehabilitative maintenance, everything? Do you have that? Because you've got about $700K that should, this is technically hers. Because I don't know if you're exactly divorced yet, but anyway, what did he do? No, of course not. So now, in the middle of this, we have this case. We have a contempt citation brought by her lawyer. This is Joycelyn. Oh, and by the way, what I'm going to say to you sounds cruel, but I'm going to say it. Look at a picture of Joycelyn and look at a picture of Fani, and just let the catty just look at this. Okay, that's all. But you wanted that. This is what you wanted, Nathan. This is it. Okay. This is what you get, and everything that comes with it. Well, let me tell you what you get with it. With 6, you get egg roll. Remember that commercial, that movie? With her, you're going to get this. Joycelyn, look at her. Very nice, sweet woman. She's sick. She has to have an endoscopy, a colonoscopy, an ultrasound. She's having trouble with digestion. She needs $4,400 for her medical treatment, and you haven't paid it. Yeah, but I told her to pay for it. She can't pay for it because you didn't pay for the daughter's rent, who, by the way, you were told, I think you told her, it was alleged, like on the day her rent was due. Sorry, I'm out of this. And his son, who's in European soccer, wants to get a visa. Sorry. So now you look like a deadbeat. And I don't want to get into family law stuff, but this is what they're going to say. You look like a deadbeat. And meanwhile, Fani over here, the imperious Cleopatra, sitting back there like this, she looks like this home wrecker. Gave you, funneled all this money to you, theoretically, and you didn't even abide by the obligations to your ex-wife, who needs an endoscopy. Let me go do this again, an ultrasound, a colonoscopy, so that she can survive. She's in bad health while you do this with your tailored suits and that stupid. He always looks like he's passing a Bezor, like he's. Whenever he thinks, it's painful. It hurts. His brain cramps as he finds himself in the position of having to think. Oh my God, this is so difficult. This thinking, this mentation process. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I can't think. You idiot. Why didn't you tell us? We would have paid this. We would have given you this. Because what you do with this case attaches to her, attaches to Georgia. And Trump's case stinks. And the rest, and the whole country is saying, this guy Trump is this, we're starting to like him. I never thought you could hit him with how many indictments? I don't even know. I can't even, none of these make any sense. Can you believe this? And they're looking at you. And the reason why, Fani, they're looking at you is because you're the biggest one, no pun intended, but intended. You're the biggest one in the room. You're the most obvious. And when Judge McAfee told you the other day to calm down and keep your mouth shut, you said, I'm going to talk about race anyway. Really? So you're looking at a number of things. Number one, perjury. Perjury. How many counts? And you too, Nathan. Changing your interrogatories? Changing your pleadings in the divorce case? Changing them from I didn't have sex to none of your damn business? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. What are you doing? What's going on here? So you're looking at perjury. You're looking at, contempt of court. I don't know how many times you lied about that. I have no idea. And then the best part was right when they were going to subpoena Fani, when Joycelyn, by the way, have you noticed the number? Have you noticed the degrees of misspellings and typographical errors? Dear God. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. And Daily Mail, the worst. But Joycelyn comes out, Jocelyn. Nobody even proofreads this. It's a unique kind of Anyway, so there's Joycelyn, this woman, and she subpoenaed Fani to a deposition. Oh, and that's when it's out. That's it. We settled. They told Nathan, fix this now. So they came up with some kind of an agreement, and already. So here we go. Here is this ball o' shite that is the Fani Willis prosecution. And first and foremost is Fani Willis. And then around that is this layer, this caramel covered layer, this shell, this veneer of the, think of it like a candy, like you have the nut, and then you have the chocolate, and there it is. And this next layer is Nathan. And then the layer after that is all the perjuries. And all of this, and then you have Terrence Bradley. Terrence Bradley, who nobody could figure out what is. Then we're not done with you. Then we're looking at the possibility of obstruction of justice and witness tampering because you threatened him. You threatened him. And you may not say, I didn't threaten him. Oh, yes, you did. When you said to him, and Yeager heard this, you said to Mr. Bradley, when he was in the Cobb County, he was the DA's office at the time, and you're saying, they're talking about us. How stupid. You always send some ancillary, some lieutenant, something. You don't do it yourself, but not Miss Arrogant. No. You had to do it yourself. You called him directly. They said, now they're after us. You know this, don't you? This is like, are you kidding me? You did this? Yes. This is. Now, if this were Donald Trump, he'd be arrested already and convicted and indicted. And this is witness tampering. This is obstruction of justice. And Wade called him up to and says, you're not going to talk about this, are you? This is privileged. Privileged. And then you had another case with that Gabe Banks, the lawyer, called up and said, who represents Wade's partner. He says, are you the leaker? I mean, this is just incredible. Now we've got contempt. So now we've got you Fani the homewrecker, and people start hearing this. What happens is it starts building up. And the public's not going to sit here and say, well, this is a family law matter. This has nothing to do really with the Donald Trump. This is a different matter altogether. It's far be it from us to do. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. This is the most incredible thing you've ever seen. Nobody can believe what is happening right now. This case stinks, and you did this, and you took the most important case because, believe it or not, laugh all you want, the obstruction case is probably one of the most important because it poses the biggest threat to Donald Trump, and you blew it with this stupid attitude of yours, all because you started lying. Nobody would have cared anything. There would have been nothing. Nobody would have said, your special DA, okay, fine. He's got problems with his divorce. Okay, fine. No, but now we know him because the public watched him. And they watched him. And they paid attention to him. And they watched the grimace. And they look at the personality. And they watch you. And they even wondered whether you put your dress on backwards, which you didn't. But that's what they did. This is where you've taken this. All because you decided to lie. All because. And you're going to blow this. And this case is going nowhere. And you take on how many lawyers? They're just having a field day. It's like, imagine you being, I know you're Mike Tyson, and that's great. But imagine having 15 boxers coming in after each round, each one fresh, each one new. And you're in round 2 and you got a new one. And he may not normally be able to beat you, but you're tired already. This is round 2. Round 3, there's another guy. Fresh. And it's round 1 for him, knocking the hell out of you. And again, you're going like this. And then round 4. That's what you've done. You've put yourself in this position, which is beyond explicable, beyond lunacy. Beyond lunacy. Okay? This is where it is right now. And it is the most important case. And you have to look at it from the viewpoint of not necessarily just the facts of the case, but the personality. I explained this last night, and I'm saying this again. I want a case, if I'm a prosecutor, where I can say it in one, like a little bumper sticker. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that man killed this man, as I hold up this morgue shot. This is a case about murder. Got it? That's what I want. That man robbed that man, took his money, and threatened to kill him unless he gave him the money. That's robbery. That's what I like. Here's the case involving Judge Merchant, who I cannot believe who's falling for this. Okay? That man, Donald Trump, got that man, Michael Cohen, to write that thing over there, Dusty Saddles, a check for keeping her mouth shut, which is from not that account, but from that account. And instead of calling it a hush money, which is okay, NDA, he actually took it from that account. So maybe making it a campaign expense, and maybe one could argue, and they've already lost the entire jury. They're saying, what? That's where we are with this. That's where we are. So we have Judge Merchant. And what he needs to do is that there is this thing that judges do. When you believe that you cannot get a fair trial with me and I am your judge, there are a lot of cases, a lot of states, a lot of jurisdictions that say, file a motion, and I'm going to, just to avoid the mere appearance of impropriety, I'm just going to step down, and that's it. And you can just, whatever. Okay, fine. Now, here's what you need to know. It's very interesting. First, Andy McCarthy in National Review writes this very interesting thing about how he even refers to, and this is rather nitpicky, as it were, but Merchant, by the way, it's Merchant, Merchan, Merchan, not Merchant, but of course, because of the terrible writing and the, autocorrect, they call him Merchant, like Ashley Merchant. But anyway, so during the course of this, you've got this guy who says, Judge, he refers to a particular Trump case as the insurrection case, which is stupid because it is. Anyway, Judge, your daughter, Lauren, and this is not in any way, we're not making fun of her or her looks or threatening her, but she works for a company, an organization, I think out of Chicago based, that is working on Adam Schiff, and who is, she is a very strong, very proud, very active Democratic operative. I don't feel good about you doing anything that could be construed by your daughter and her firm and her clients as being favorable to my client, Donald Trump. So we want you to recuse yourself because of that. Then we find out that your wife, it says, I think she worked for Tish James for 20 years or something. That's another one. Now, this is disqualification. This, it doesn't, you don't have to prove. Many, believe it or not, many judges are married to people of different political inclinations. They do a lot of things. They make a lot of changes and a lot of, what am I saying? What am I trying to say? They do a lot of things that are theoretically conflicting, but that's okay. But in this case, and especially in New York, where the whole system is so political, the judge absolutely has to step down. Absolutely. Because you're a judge. And you always have this, like a prosecutor, you have this special burden to not lose or impair the ability of the public to have faith in the system. Okay, fine. Okay. Unbelievable. And what's also unbelievable, and I agree with what everybody's saying, the more that Trump is charged, the more that he is appeared to be treated so monumentally poorly, the more that he is the target and the focus of all of this, the more, I don't know if it's the sympathy, but the more the pro-Trump part is discovered and explored and inspired. And that's why the greatest thing for him is Fani Willis. The other day when she said, she said, the judge told me I can't talk about race. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk about it anyway. She just doesn't care. Do you understand what I'm saying? Doesn't care. She is primed for the picking. Now, the best part is you really don't want to disqualify her because you might get somebody better. But I say, you know what? Do it. Not disqualify her because of a conflict of interest. Because remember, there's two reasons for disqualification: conflict of interest and forensic fraud or forensic misconduct, where she's actually done something to affect his fate. But this is a different issue. We're going to continue with this, dear friends. We're going to continue with this. I thank you. Please listen to what I'm saying. Thank you very much. Thank you for thank you, of course, for liking this video and subscribing. Don't you like the way I do that? Yeah? Don't you like that? Also, remember, LionelMedia.com. That's where you go to subscribe to the uncensored stuff and the culturally inappropriate private channel. That's where you do that one. Also, go to Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Edie Crowley will tell you. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Lynn's Warriors. LYNNS Warriors. I think you can spell this. Or on email, X or Twitter at Lynn's_Warriors. You understand that? It's that. And by the way, one more thing which is critical. My friends, I tell you. Lionel Legal. This is the sister version of this. It's just a sister channel. And I'll go from one to the other. And I may do a morning show here, may do a morning show there. And you've got to be subscribed to both so you'll always be a part of it. Same old me, but different tacks, different takes, and that sort of thing. So anyway, my friends, I thank you. I wish you have a great and a glorious day. And to our good friend Edie Crowley, bless you. Thank you for your kindness and your support this morning. We appreciate that. And we support all of your support. You are wonderful. You make this, you bring me back to what's going on. And you are, if ever somebody says, how do you think the country's going? By virtue of the people in my channel, doing great. Because you're the tip of the iceberg. You're the tip of the spear. And if the rest of the country is a tenth as attuned and as aware as you are, we're doing great. All right, your friends, have a great and glorious day. See you tonight at 7 p.m. And until then, remember, as we always say, always the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you, dead.